My name is Brian. This is my record collection, and I've been collecting for about 40 years, give or take. This is the soundtrack album of the Rankin Bass classic TV special, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, told and sung by Fred Astaire. This is on the MGM label, released in 1970. You have Mickey Rooney, who was the voice of Santa Claus, Fred Astaire, the narrator.
And the postman, right? Yeah.
Yes, and the postman. And Keenan Wynn, the voice of Winter Warlock. This one is considered rare. You have from Disneyland, the Enchanted Tiki Room from 1968. I believe this is the first print of this particular album. Now, it had been reissued around 2013, 2014, but I am confident enough to say that this is the first print, given that the back cover is not colored. Now, as for the extremely rare records, I would have to go to, and this is again from Disneyland, the Buena Vista release, the read-along version of Jim Henson's Labyrinth. This was produced in 1986. Does not use the vocals from the cast members. This is mostly done by a studio cast.
No Bowie?
No Bowie, and no Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, man.
I consider this to be rare because only a few copies of this have been put out, and this was on the cusp when CDs started taking over as the main format. I didn't start collecting until I was about 13. I went down to the People's Drugstore, which is now CVS, and I looked down on one of the shelves, and there was a 7-inch 45 EP of the Candyman on the Peter Pan label, and it had the artwork done by the same person who did the Pinocchio book and record LP that I showed you earlier. So I picked that up, and then eventually I started seeing other albums or other records in that same catalog series, and since then resulted in my wanting to start collecting the records with that particular artwork. We got On the Good Ship Lollipop, number F1216.
Mm-hmm.
Three Blind Mice, F1217, both designed by George Peed. He was a former Disney animator, the Gingerbread Man.
Okay.
Again, George Peed artwork.
Okay. Monsters.
I got this when I was a kid because I wanted to learn the lyrics to the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
Compare that to 1973's issue. George Peed artwork.
Really? Okay. That's awesome.
The records like this were in prominence, and these designs they were disappearing. I expressed that with the librarians at that time, and one of them made a suggestion that maybe you should go and find them in thrift stores. And some of them were a hit or miss, but I do come across them. Some of them were in reasonable condition, and then there are some that the cover is written on, the record scratched up, a page might be missing. Eventually, it was like, okay, if this is how I find them, that's how it is. Until I discovered eBay in 1999. Finally, I'd be able to find all these titles, especially book and records, unopened, that are still clean. I can finally have these and enjoy them till the end of time.
Multiplication Rock. So would that have been Schoolhouse Rock, or is
Yep.
this before? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is part of Schoolhouse Rock, but this is the only topic, or I should say, segment that was put on record. Yeah, this played in syndication during weekday mornings, and I watched this before I went to school.
Huh.
A little bit of fun fact: this gentleman here, Chris Gifford, co-creator of Dora the Explorer.
Really? God, I thought it was Ralph Mal for a second.
A lot of people ask me that. And the voice of Gorilla later was the original voice of Elmo.
Really?
The feeling that it gave me when I was a kid, when I first heard these, joy, appreciation, and just simply being alive. So you got the show and tell. There are the programs. You got the presentation of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Wow.
You have the record and the film strip. The turntable's a bit on the wobbly side.
See that?
Make sure that that's aligned to here. Put the record with the arrow pointed as such. Take the film strip.
Okay.
Put it in the slot. Put the needle on. Turn it on.
One day, while working in the forest, Alibaba saw a great cloud of dust.
I have some that have that's still unopened.
Dang. Okay. Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, Chase the Great White Whale.
So that's the original art used for the record?
Yep.
So that's got to be a crown jewel piece, right?
Yep.
So if they really wanted that blue whale instead of a gray whale, I guess. That's so cool.
There's just something about them that still draws me to them to this day, especially the artwork and the music and the performances. When I was a kid, I had a bit of a speech impediment. It may still show to this day. These records, particularly the read-alongs, they helped me a great deal, not just with the reading aspects, but also the language as a whole. Started imitating the voices and the instruments and what have you. It helped me develop my voice over time. Okay, so what we have here is one of the albums that I've had as a kid. This is not the copy. They had the stories of Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and one that was unknown to me until then, the story of the Water Babies. I had an album like this when I was 8 years old. And by then, I was so inspired by this album and so many others that I had at that time. It was then that I started dreaming about having a line of children's albums under my own label. And so what I would do, I would tape 2 pieces of paper together so that it would look like it's roughly the size of a 12-inch album cover. And like this back cover, what I would do is draw these little boxes so that it looks like these are the records that are in my catalog, and just doodle the insides. I would create my own albums. I mean, whether they're classic titles or even just made up ones. This is my very first album under my label, which is Washington Independent Records. And what this is a compilation, if you will, of the 8 stories that I originally presented as a book and cassette, a series of coloring books along with the read-along tapes. Hence the umbrella title, Color Us with Music. A friend of mine made mention that what if you put all those stories together and put them into an album? And I was like, I hadn't even thought of that. You can check out the link below or visit my website at brian-washington.com. I want to thank you for watching this video, taking a view of my collection, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support.